Hey YouTube, this is Southern Purple 1 and I'm going to talk about EMP. I had to give this video some thought because I was going to share with you what I'm doing here and my shortcomings, my strengths, but it'd definitely be giving my opposite away. Other people are counting on me, so I'm not going to do it, but I'm going to share what I can share with you. First, I'm going to cover a lot of material. I'm not going to cover it all in one video because you'd probably tune out and fall asleep on me, but I'm going to cover some things. Basically what I'm going to cover is launch. How's it going to affect us, an EMP weapon? I'm going to cover the Lord because he's in charge. I'm going to cover loser mentality. I don't want people to say, oh, I can't prep for that, I'm going to give up anyways. No, I'm going to talk about your location, talk about loved ones, talk about the locals in your area, talk about the length of what I think is going to happen to us. Then we're going to talk about logistical supply that you're going to need. You're going to talk about logistical resupply. We're going to talk about your larder or your pantry. We're going to talk about your larder resupply. We're going to talk about the library that you need to have. Information. Can't count on the internet. It'll be gone. I'm going to talk about your loot. And not in the sense of you're going to go loot people's stuff, but your loot, you know, in the gaming sense of your treasure. And then I'm going to talk about liabilities. So I got a lot to talk about. I'll probably add a ton more before I finish these videos for you. But first I want to talk about launch. How are they going to launch this, an EMP weapon? They can do it with a ballistic missile. They could do it with a missile sitting off our coast that's on top of a freighter. Anything like the cargo containers, and they could launch it. Definitely a hot air balloon would be an ideal weapon. What they're trying to do is get that nuclear weapon about 18 to 50 miles up. And that will create an electromagnetic pulse, and it's going to fry electronics. The grid is going to go down for sure, because think of the grid as this huge antenna, hundreds and hundreds and, I don't know, thousands of miles long, literally. Thousands upon thousands. I don't even know the length of all the electrical cables inside the United States. What that will do is act as a big antenna, and it will definitely fry the electrical power grid. Without electrical power grid, we have nothing else. We don't have water to pump. We don't have electricity. We don't have banking. The list goes on and on. We don't have good health care. So that's what they're going to do, how they're going to launch one. Who has the capabilities of launching an EMP weapon? Iran, North Korea, definitely. Definitely China and Russia. And there's many other countries. Hopefully these are friendly countries to us that would not launch a weapon against us. But very easy to do. It'd be catastrophic. So the chances of an EMP weapon going off has increased. I truly believe it's increased over the last year. It's increasing it's more increased because of the problems we're having with China, problems we're having with Russia. We're butting our noses into the Ukraine situation. Russia said that they're considering us not a full-fledged war with them, but we're definitely aiding and abetting Ukraine. So we're at a proxy war with Russia as we speak. So that's a little bit how it could happen. The chances of it is small, but the effects on the world would be huge. Now, when I say launching, people think, oh, they're going to launch one, and I'm going to take all my stuff out of my EMP-proof container, and I'll be good. I'll have my combos up, my power box up. There's going to be multiple EMPs that could be used against us, multiple. So there might be one today, and they might wait 3 days later and do another one against us, because they're going to think, well, whatever they have hardened might be in hardened spaces, protected spaces. The American people would get it out, or the national government, what's left of it, would get it out, and then they'll do a second one or a third one or a fourth one. So we don't know how many they're going to launch against us. So don't assume. I hear so many people say, I got it all protected, and when it happens, I'll get my stuff out and I'll be good to go. And then they launch another one, and then you're really in trouble. So if you're going to get anything out of your container that you've tried to EMP proof, be it improvised way or be it buying some commercial products, and I'll talk about those commercial products, I'd be very careful, because there could be multiple attacks against us. My philosophy is, yes, I have this stuff protected, but my ultimate goal is to live like 1860. 1860 being electricity and nothing. And what I'm doing now, I'll share a little bit with you: wood stove, a hand water pump to get water out of the ground, or some type of rain catchment. Definitely candles. You know, you might not have your chainsaw. You might not have all kinds of stuff, because you might not have gas to run your chainsaw. So do you have axes? Do you have two-man crosscut saws? Do you have ways to split that wood? I'm just going back to 1860, or you can go say 1800s, whatever you want. But that's what I think could happen. I think the threat is real, but goes back to the next L is the Lord. The Lord's in control. The Lord knows what's going to happen. So you got to rely on the Lord to help you, the Lord to guide you. So if you're a Christian, just pray about it. Say, what should I do? And follow what the Holy Spirit or the Lord tells you to do, and then do it. You might say, Dave, after I go through all of this in numerous videos, you might say, Dave, my situation is hopeless. I live in the urban city. I live in the suburbs. I have nothing prepared. I'm doing the best I can. You know what? The Lord knows that. The Lord is going to take care of you. If that's his will, if he decides that, hey, I'm going to protect him or her or this family, he will do it. Next is loser mentality. So many people look at this problem as so huge and say, dude, I can't survive that. There's no way. I don't want to survive that. And I call that loser mentality. There's no way to know how it's going to affect your location. Your location might not be as affected as someone else's because of the elevation. They want to shoot this thing and detonate it 18 to 50 miles above the earth. There's a sweet spot where it's going to be the most effective on the ground, and maybe they don't have the best spot so it doesn't affect the whole continental USA. Or they launch multiples at the same time that will totally cover the United States. Maybe they'll want to take out Mexico and Canada too, so that means aid will not flow into the United States, and they probably would. So the loser mentality, we need to lose the loser mentality. Do the best you can, and that's all you can do. The next is location. Your location is going to determine if you really survive or you have the best chance of surviving. When it comes to real estate, what do they say? Location, 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 location. And that really matters. I don't want to make people feel helpless if they live in the city or the suburbs, but if you live in the city, the deck is stacked against you, unbelievably stacked against you. If I was in the city, I would be trying to make sure I have a place outside the country. In the country. Now, you might say, well, I'll jump in my car and get there. If your car does not work, and there's many studies on what cars are going to work and what cars are not going to work, we're not going to go into that. I'm assuming right now that all cars are not working. There will be a few of the very older cars that don't use the computers, carburetors, they're going to be working. But the chance of you getting out of the city if you don't move immediately is going to be a problem. First of all, a lot of roads are going to be totally blocked with cars that are stalled. So unless they get these roads clear, it's going to be hard. You can travel. You'll just have to weave and go around everything. But that's going to slow you down. And the slower you do, you're going, the more chance of someone is to try to steal your vehicle. If you don't go immediately, and people have time to think about it and they realize that, hey, this situation is catastrophic. There's no law enforcement. There's no rules. You're going to have to fight to protect that vehicle. So get out of the cities as fast as you can. You need to have a plan. You might say, Dave, I don't have a vehicle that I know is going to be working. What am I going to do? Find a place outside the city. If it's 20, 30 miles that you're going to be able to walk to. Now, if you decide to walk, you're going to lose a lot of your stored food supplies. So you're going to go to a place where you might have safety, but you're going to have to start thinking, hey, I got safety, I got enough food for a week in my backpack, but after that week, I might have a little bit safer location, but I'm going to not have my resupply of food, and what am I going to do then? So it's a lot of questions, but if you stay in the city and it turns crazy, riots, looting, burning, murder, rape, pillaging, the whole works, and that's what's going to encompass. People nowadays are doing that with law enforcement presence. You remove law enforcement presence, it's going to be a lot harder for you to survive. Now, granted, you'll be in a position where you can hopefully be very active in self-defense, and you might have a location where if you're in a city area, that you have some good neighbors that you can work together, but eventually you're going to run out of supplies. The reason is you're in the city. Yes, you have warehouses where I don't have warehouses in the country where I live, but I have natural resources that are very abundant. We have small farms with animals. We have clean drinking water, and we have open space to plant gardens. So our resupply can be taken care of. But we don't have a warehouse full of tons and tons of food. Now, granted, in a collapsed society, if the local leadership and the local law enforcement do not try to keep a lid on it and secure supplies, and you got to be thinking maybe the law enforcement and the local authorities will secure supplies for them and them only, or people they like. So there's no guarantee with local authority that they're going to push supplies down to you. So if they take controls of the Walmart distribution centers or Walmarts or any food warehouse, there's no guarantee that they're going to do the right moral thing and try to move food down to the people. They might say, hey, this is all the food that's coming into this city. We're not going to give any away. We're going to build a network of people that we can supply with food, and they can then take care of us and we can take care of them. And then the majority of the people that are just out there will be on their own. So I urge you, if you're not in the country, at least locate a place where you can go. Think of relatives, think of friends that you have. They have a place out in the country. Now, if it's so far away, you walking there, be realistic. If you're 60, 70 years old and you have some health conditions, you're not going to walk 30, 40, 50 miles. Some of you will. So you have to do an honest evaluation of you. Don't sugarcoat it and say, oh, I can do it. I'll be, scared to death. I'm going to walk. No, your body will only let you do what your body can do. Yes, you will have an adrenaline rush hit you, and you might feel better than you really are. But when that adrenaline rushes wear off, you're going to be saying, I just got 20 miles to go and I can barely move. So to you, no matter what shape you are now, you can always get in better shape. So work on your physical health. That's going to help you anyways. Get off medications if you can. So location, location, location. Next, I want to talk about loved ones. And I don't mean that as totally family. Who surrounds you? Family, friends, people you love, loved ones. Are they going to be able to help you? Are you going to be able to join forces with them? I'm going to talk more about that in the next video, but I just wanted to get started. So, a bunch of L words. Launch. How are they going to do it? The Lord's in control. Get rid of your loser mentality. Location is the biggest thing, where you live. And loved ones. Do you have a network of people? I'll talk more about this, but this is just the start. EMP is a real threat. I'm not here to scare you. I'm here for you to sit down and rationally think out this situation and make the best plan. You might say, Dave, I have no money. It doesn't take time to sit around a table with some loved ones or some friends, family, people that are also concerned about that, and hash things out. Saying, do we have resources if we stay here? Do we have resources farther away? Do we have a friend we could go to? Can we all walk there if we don't have a vehicle? Sitting around a table and brainstorming and wargaming, it doesn't cost you a penny. And that's the biggest thing. If you had a solid plan and you've thought through it, and I don't want you to think through it after the EMP goes off and you're like, running around like a chicken with his head cut off. I want you to do that now where you're rational, you can sit down and talk with other people and make a plan. Thanks for watching.